Hi, everyone. Welcome to our coach mentor meeting this evening. My name is Marissa Lucas, and if you're here tonight, you've probably gotten an email from me already at this point. We've gathered here tonight to share some high-level information about our First Tech Challenge World Championship event. First, I want to offer an enormous congratulations to your team on achieving an advancement spot to the World Championship. This is an outstanding achievement and honor. With great power comes great responsibility, and I do want to ask you to help share this message with your teams. World Championship is an amazing event, and competing in the judge room and on the competition field is just one piece of it. This is a huge opportunity to meet First Tech Challenge teams from around the world, form new friendships, and have a once-in-a-lifetime experience. We hope your team has an amazing week on and off the playing field. I do want to let everybody know that this call is going to be recorded for anyone that isn't able to join us this evening. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to type them in the question box. I'm going to save all the questions for the end just so we don't get hung up in the middle of the presentation. We have a lot of information to cover this evening, but feel free to type them in as you have them, and then we will come back to them all at the end. I did want to show these pictures. I am in the middle of the one on the left in pink. And then this was our field at championships last year. So coming up, they will look nothing like this, but I did want to give you a mini preview. All right, there are a few great sources of information to share with your teams, parents, and friends coming to the event. The 2023 First Championship app will be especially useful on site. It has schedules, route numbers, site maps, team info, and pit maps, and information about all the other exciting things that are going on during the week. I highly recommend that you download this app for Championship Week. I do also want to do a shout out for the First Tech Challenge addendum that has a lot of First Tech Challenge specific information in it. The event guide also covers a lot of the general championship information that covers the entire event. All right, gracious professionalism is a huge part of the ethos of First and something that really makes our programs and competitions unique. I'm going to task each and every one of you to demonstrate gracious professionalism at this event and to be a role model for your team members. Gracious professionalism is something that makes First First and makes First a program that you can really be proud to be part of. All right, now I want to talk really quickly about our goal for this enormous event. In case you didn't know, First Tech Challenge only has a working staff of 9 people, but we have over 275 volunteers working to make this event successful for you. So I want to remind everyone to please be gracious and respectful when interacting with all of our volunteers. They're traveling with their own vacation time and their own money to help support this event and make it work for everyone who's there. And our goal for this event really is to make sure that all of our teams and our volunteers have the very best experience possible. All right, before arriving, make sure that you filled out the consent and release form online and bring a paper copy of your team roster for check-in. You only need to bring paper copies of the consent and release forms for any students that haven't filled it out online already. The roster will show if your team members have or have not. These need to be brought in to pit admin when you check in. They'll be dropped off and exchanged for your team packet. Make sure you pack robots, tools, spare batteries, and spare parts carefully. Please make sure that your team number is on the outside front cover of your engineering portfolio. You'll see this fun fact come up again and again during this presentation. Please put it on the front cover. I also really want to make sure that you hear me say this. Please, please, please register in StreamPoint in advance of the event. So the link is here in the slides. These will all be sent out after the call. Please, if you have a chance, go into StreamPoint and put every single every single coach and every single team member into StreamPoint so that when you go to check in and pick up your badges, they are ready to go. You can add people in on site, but it will be time consuming and more stressful than if you add them in ahead of time. So anyway, this is a link. Add everyone who's coming with you in there. You'll be able to pick up your badges nice and easy, and it'll be a good time. Once you have registered, the confirmation email will come from firstregistration@streampoint.com. So that is not a First Inspires email address. And the subject line is your first 2023 registration confirmation. So if you're not sure if you've done this already, you can search your email for these things. Double check. If you haven't, please do it. And then we also do recommend that you read the event guide and the First Tech Challenge addendum before you come. 10 points for everybody that does that. All right, what to bring? Make sure you bring your robot. This is most important. You also want to bring tools and spares. Please bring your engineering portfolio with your team number on the outside front cover of the portfolio. We encourage you to bring your team attire. We also remind you to bring safety glasses for everyone in your group. You're going to need closed-toed and closed-back shoes to be in the pits and on the competition field. So please save your flip-flops for after hours and not at the event. We do encourage everyone to bring a water bottle. So there are a very large number of refill stations throughout the venue, so you can go ahead and fill your water bottle up. And then a Tiara, so First Tech Challenge celebrates Tiara Friday, which was started by Jill Wilker, who's also on this call. And we encourage you to bring suspenders for Suspender Saturday. These are fun, you don't have to, but it's always a good time. Please remember to bring your gracious professionalism. If you'd like, a copy of the game manual part 1 and 2, and a copy of the latest and greatest game forum, so that if you end up in the question box, you have the supporting materials you need. We also encourage you to bring chairs for your pits. We will not be providing these for anybody, so you can either sit in the bleachers or bring your own chairs for your pits. All right, so load in. This is a lot of information. I will be sending out this PowerPoint after this call. I do just want to mention that load in is Tuesday from 3 to 6:30 and also on Wednesday from 7 to 8 a.m. So you're going to come in around the back of the building. You'll be able to come in the back loading doors if you have a car. If you are pushing a robot from across the street, you can come in the front door. You're going to have to go up an elevator and kind of push it through a very large part of the venue. So we do recommend if you have a car or a truck or a trailer that you bring it through the back part of the event and follow this specific load-in plan. All right, when you arrive on Tuesday between 3 and 6:30, there's a lot of things that are going to happen, and I promise you it will all be really fun. So first, it's a 3-part check-in process. You're going to want to come to pit admin, which in this drawing on the right is the central group of tables. So when you come to pit admin, you're going to bring your team roster and any consent or release forms that you have that aren't indicated on your team roster. You will turn that in, and in return, you will get your team packet, which has driver buttons, team pins, your specific schedule times, and a lot of important information for your team. You will also pick up your printed team and spectator badges at the satellite registration kiosk. So that is going to be south of the general pit administration area. You can see that in this drawing. And then you will also be able to check in with a robot hardware inspection and register for an inspection appointment on Tuesday. So all these 3 things will happen, will be available to you. You can do them in any order you want. It's a little confusing that we separated them, but it will be more efficient than if we try to get you to sign up for everything all in the same space. So that's what will happen on Tuesday or on Wednesday morning from 7 until 8 if you don't make it on Tuesday. Also on Tuesday when you check in, you will be able to set up your pit space. You can look through your team packet and you can kind of get a lay of the land. The practice fields will not be open and neither will the competition field. All right, registration and badging hours. So there is a central registration desk. This will be on the first floor where you come in on the main floor and the front doors. This is a wider schedule. This is for picking up your event badges. We're also having a satellite registration desk, which is next to pit admin in the First Tech Challenge area. So as you can see, those First Tech Challenge hours will be Tuesday afternoon and Wednesday morning. If you have any other team members coming at a different time, not team members, but parents, friends, they'll be checking in downstairs at the central registration desk. You will need a badge to participate in this event and get around to the different event spaces. All right, and now I would like to turn it over to Michael Coleman to walk us through the inspection information. Michael, I'm so sorry, you're muted.
There we go. I cannot unmute myself. Thank you. And thank you for pointing that out, Marissa. I told a great joke. I'm just going to skip that now, if you don't mind, to save a little bit of time. Okay, so I'm Michael Coleman, and I'm going to talk about the next 4 slides. The first one is all about robot hardware inspection. As Marissa said earlier in the presentation, we are offering robot hardware inspection on Tuesday, and not only are we offering it, our goal is to inspect all of the robots on Tuesday, right? So arrive at the venue on Tuesday with the intention of getting your robot completely inspected on Tuesday. So the robot inspection hours will be from 3:30 p.m. until about 6:30 p.m. And I don't want to scare anybody. We realize that a few teams are not able to arrive on Tuesday. It's not a problem. We'll have a robot inspection team available on Wednesday to do re-inspections and first-time inspections for teams that were not able to arrive on Tuesday. But our goal is to get everybody inspected hardware-wise on Tuesday. And the way it's going to work is right next to Pit Admin, we have robot hardware headquarters. And we have the headquarters split up into 2 sections. Each section is going to face a conference. So in case you're not aware, each team is going to be assigned to a division. And then we're going to go and pair 2 divisions together, and they're going to be in a conference. Okay, so we're going to be thinking about, for robot hardware inspection, we're thinking about conferences. So you'll go to the inspection desk facing your side of the pit and check in with that person and let them know that, hey, we're here, our robot is unpacked, and we are ready for inspection. So what I want you to do is, for the remainder of the day, please have your robot in your pit and have at least one student there to go and talk to the robot hardware inspector when they arrive. And so it's going to be a first come, first serve system. So the earlier you get in the queue, the sooner that you're going to be inspected and go off and do other things to enjoy your day. And the inspections will be performed in your assigned pit area. So as an inspector is assigned to your team, they will come to you and inspect your robot. What they're going to be inspecting will be your robot. And it's what you would expect for robot hardware inspection. Are you using legal materials? Is it safe? Are there sharp edges? Do you have alliance markers? We're also looking at beacons. All the beacons you plan on using, all the signal sleeves you plan on using throughout the week, no matter how many there are, that's the time to show every single one of them to your inspector so that you know and we know that all of these components, the robots, the beacons, the signal sleeves, satisfies the rules, okay? So something you could do if you're a little bit uncertain or just want to double check that your robot meets the starting size constraint, right? We all know the robot needs to be within an 18-inch cube starting volume at the beginning of the match. So near Pit Admin and robot inspection headquarters, we're going to have a self-service robot size test tool. Now this is going to be the robot size tool that is sold by Andy Mark. It's the exact same type of tool that we're going to be using on Wednesday when we do the official robot sizing test. So I encourage all teams, especially those with larger robots, to do a self-service robot size check so that you know on Wednesday when you do the official one, you are going to breeze right through that. Okay, Marissa, next slide. Okay, also on Tuesday, we are going to be operating a robot help desk. Okay, and it's going to be open from 3 p.m. until 6:30 p.m. and it's going to be staffed with technical experts, right? So there'll be people there that can help you with robot software issues, robot hardware issues, electrical issues. So if you have any known issues to your robot, or you get it there and you start testing it and something's not working quite right, or maybe you've had something that's just been a nagging problem all season long, whether it's hardware or software, you couldn't figure it out yourself, well, we will have some volunteer experts there that I can pretty much guarantee will help you get on a path to solve your problem. Okay, so any robot issues that you have, please drop by the robot help desk. It's going to be located somewhere in the vicinity of Pit Admin. We don't know exactly where it's going to be, but if you can't see it, check in with Pit Admin and say, hey, I need help finding the robot help desk, and they will point you in the right direction. Okay. And they can also help you with inspection questions. If you're concerned about something maybe not quite being legal, they can help you with that as well. And if you have a compliance issue, they can help you figure out a solution that will get you through inspection correctly. Okay, that's it for that slide, Marissa. Okay, we're done with Tuesday. We're already done with 20% of your week. It's amazing how fast our weeks are going to go by. Just like that, it's going to be Saturday and we're packing up to go home. So I encourage you to enjoy every minute of every day, because in a blink of an eye, it will be gone. So here we are on Wednesday, right? And you also have a busy day. Fortunately, almost everybody will have had their robots inspected, so you won't have to worry about that. Okay, but you do need to be concerned about field inspection and your robot size inspection. As Marissa said earlier, every robot, every team is assigned to a field inspection time. They're pre-scheduled. My expectation is teams will know these schedules before they even leave home. But if you don't know what it is, you'll get it in your information packet when you check in, I am sure. So please, please, please be on time, or even better, be a little bit early for your field inspection appointment time. Okay, so the location. So we are going to do field inspection by division, and it's going to be on the same playing fields that you're going to play your qualification matches. So, probably 10 minutes before your scheduled time, gather up all your equipment and your robot and start walking and follow the signs. Typically, there'll be signs for a queuing path. For the competition fields, they may say field inspection. You'll follow the same queuing path you'll do for qualification matches. And there'll be volunteers there to check you in and make sure you showed up at the right spot. But remember, field inspection is done by your division. What to bring? So you can have up to 5 team members. So first of all, please, please, please bring your standard drive team. Your 2 drivers or 1 driver, your coach, and your human player, because we want the people that are going to be going through the qualification matches to go through field inspection, because as part of our spiel, we're going to explain exactly how each qualification match is going to unfold, how you're going to progress from one step to the other, down to how you're going to get your robots onto the playing field. Okay, so 4 regular drive team members, and then we encourage you to bring a team software programmer, someone that knows how to program your robot, to do the settings on your driver station or robot controller, because if you have trouble for field inspection, we'd like to have your expert there working with our experts to quickly solve any problem that you may have. And as you would expect, as part of field inspection, we're going to do a practice match. So bring everything you need to participate in a match. You need your robot, your main battery, your beacon, your signal sleeve, all your driver station equipment, anything that you need to run a real match, you need to bring with you. And we will definitely run a full autonomous period during your practice match, and we will probably run an abbreviated driver control period, just to make sure that the robot goes through all the phases of a match and that you can stop the robot on command. Okay, now something that many of our teams will be interested in is sensor calibration, right? So we have 2 different fields. We're going to have show lighting. It's maybe very different than what you've been used to in the past. So there will be an opportunity after you've finished field inspection to do sensor calibration. And the way that's going to work is, if teams are showing up on time and they're flowing through inspection properly, we'll have some time right after you finish the practice match. There'll be a few minutes where you can stay on that same field and you can do sensor calibration. Now, this is not a time to run an extra autonomous routine or do things like that, but you can move your robot around on the field and do whatever you need to do to calibrate your sensors. Now, once you've done that and leave that field, you can go to the second field for your division, and you'll have a little bit more time there. You can do the same thing. You can go and put your robot anywhere you want on the field, check the lighting conditions, and make sure that you are good to go when we start playing qualification matches later in the day. Now, once you've gone through robot field inspection, whether you pass or not, before you leave the area, please, please, please stop at the robot size inspection desk for your division. Each division will have their own robot size inspection desk with your dedicated volunteers, and they will use that AndyMark robot size test tool, and they'll make sure that you comply, or your robot complies to the starting size constraint. Okay, whew, that was a lot. I hope I didn't talk too fast for everybody. Marissa, next slide, please. Okay, my final message to you is I wear a lot of hats. I have a couple inspection hats. I happen to be the event FTA, the field technical advisor, And I just wanted to take a moment to talk about a couple topics that I think are really, really important. And people that maybe have not traveled so far with their robot or never been to the World Championship might not have thought about. So first of all, we're at the end of the season, and there are a lot of hours on your robot. And, you know, parts wear out, things get loose. So you really need, before you leave, and when you arrive, do it again. You need to give your robot a spa treatment, okay? You know, mechanically verify that all the fasteners are secured. Even like Velcro over the season can get weak. If it's has some adhesive on it, that could be starting to come off. Take a look at all of those things and make sure that your robot is tight and secure and ready to go. Now, when you're transporting your robot to the World Championship, it's really, really important that your robot drivetrain wheels not support the weight of your robot. It's one really quick and easy way to damage your drivetrain, especially the axles. So what you want to do is either remove the wheels and have it sit on the robot frame, or if you keep the wheels on, just put it on blocks. So the blocks support the frame of the robot, and there is no weight, no robot weight transmitted through the wheels to the bottom of your carrying case, okay? So drivetrain wheels should not support robot weight when you're traveling to Houston. Something I've seen this year more than other years is a lot of electrical problems, particularly sensor cables and servo cables, right? So please, 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 before you leave home, visually inspect every single inch of all of your wiring, especially the two that I just mentioned, and look for crimps and worn away in insulation. Because what can happen very easily is during a match, if the insulation's worn away and that exposed wire shorts against the frame of your robot's likely to stop working, right? And we don't want that to happen. So let's go ahead and check your wiring, make sure that it is in good shape before you even get to Houston. But as a minimum, check it in Houston. We want to make sure we don't have any of those issues once we start match play, okay? Something that I think is important, we have different Alliance Station stands this year. So I have on the right a little image of it and the dimensions. So each Alliance Station will have two of these, one per team, and the expectation is that teams will use these to help support and organize their driver station equipment, okay? So if that's important to your setup, here are the dimensions and what you'll be using. And finally, there will be, in addition to the help desk offered on Tuesday, for the remainder of the event, Wednesday afternoon through Saturday, we are going to have a lot of skilled volunteers called CSAs, Control System Advisors, there to help teams. So we're going to have nominally 2 CSAs in every division's queue, and they're going to be there to make sure your robot is good to go for the match. And they're also available if you need comprehensive tech support. They can go with you after your match back to the pit area, and they can spend as much time as needed to help get your robot back in the game if you're having any technical problems. So if you need any help at all, you know, ask for a control system advisor, a CSA, in the queue at pit admin. You know, that's their job, and they want to be there to help you fix problems as quickly as you can and get you back in the game. Okay, that is all I had to cover tonight. Thank you so much for your time. And I'm going to turn the presentation back over to Marissa.
Thank you, Michael. That was excellent, and I'm sure everyone appreciated the break before this marathon of Marissa. Next up, we've got judging. Next up, we have judging. Judging interviews are pre-scheduled on Wednesday. We cannot accommodate schedule changes, unfortunately, because we have 192 teams that we need to get through judging on Wednesday morning. It's going to be busy. Each judge interview session will be 20 minutes. Judges will ask the teams if they have a presentation. Teams will be allowed 5 uninterrupted minutes, after which judges may interrupt them. Please bring your engineering portfolio, your control award submission form, and your judging feedback form, optional if you would like, to your judging appointment. If you have an electronic engineering portfolio, you will need to print it out and bring a hard copy to the judging appointment. For anyone that doesn't know this yet, which should be no one, Engineering portfolios cannot exceed 15 pages, plus 1 cover sheet. If your portfolio is longer than 15 pages, the judges will only read the first 15 pages. Judges will also come and visit the pits and watch matches at the fields during the rest of the week. We do encourage teams to leave team members at the pits for when judges come around to do pit interviews. Our judges are looking forward to learning more about your team. And I would like to give Jill Wooker an opportunity to add to the judging information.
Hi, thanks, Marissa. Hopefully I'm off mute. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Excellent. Yeah, so just a couple of points. If you have not bound the portfolio in any way, please don't just put a paper clip on it. Please try to staple it or bind it in some manner. There's a lot of teams, and if it's just on a simple paper clip, it's very likely that that will come undone in the paper. The other thing I would advise, in the header or footer of each page, just write your team number. I also like it really well if you could number the pages. So just in case if something happened with your portfolio and it wasn't bound very well, we can actually reassemble it in the right order and actually give it its due diligence and really be able to make sure that we're not putting content out of order, etc. So just a little bit of care on your portfolio. Doesn't have to be bound in any particular way. We're not going to judge that aspect, doesn't count. Don't put any content there. But if you put it in something like a 3-ring binder, that's fine. Just recognize that if you put your cover sheet on the front, which is what I would recommend, don't put you can put another cover sheet on the inside that's identical, but it doesn't matter. Like, we're going to look at 15 pieces of pages of content. If you have more than that, please remove that. I would encourage you, because the worst thing is to give us more content, and we want to evaluate it, but we also have to be fair and equitable for everyone. So give us 15 pages of content, please. And there's lots of great information in, I believe, Game Manual Part 1 around that portfolio. So I'll be on the call to answer any questions at the end as they come in. But the judges are super excited. We have 4 divisions. I am working with each of the judge advisors for each division. So you'll actually be in really great hands. We have a very deep pool of very experienced both judge advisors and judges. Super excited to talk to your team.
Thanks, Jill. Appreciate it. All right, and now we're on to the area map. So for everyone who may not have been to Houston before and the George R. Brown, the yellow rectangle is the George R. Brown Center. This blue square is where the First Tech Challenge area is going to be, highlighted with an arrow so everyone could find it. I did also just want to point out Discovery Green. There will be a lot of events happening for teams in this area throughout the week. So we're going to have movies in the park, concerts, there's food trucks, there's going to be games. So definitely make sure to spend some time in Discovery Green throughout the week, because it's going to be beautiful out all week. I just checked the weather. I can't wait. I'm coming from Maine, so I'm very much looking forward to it. All right, on level 1. So this is the first robotics competition footprint. It's enormous. I put the slide in here because I did just want to show you, when you walk in these front doors, this is where the central registration will be located. So if you come in on the first floor and would like to pick up your badges here, you are more than welcome. There's also the first store will be located on the first floor. So I did just want to point this out for anyone who wanted to pick up their swag or sweatshirts. Level 2 is important to you because it houses the Innovation Fair. The Innovation Fair will be filled with engaging and interactive sponsor and supporter booths, and we highly encourage our teams to check it out. I have the hours of operation here. These are also available on the app and the website. And level 3, the most important and spectacular level of the whole entire event. All right, so orange is FTC land, which was coined by Michael Coleman, who spoke earlier. This is everything that is important to us. We'll all be here in FTC land, except for judging, which will be down here. This long orange rectangle will be where the judging spaces are. On Wednesday morning, also this first LEGO League areas, those rooms will be used for FTC judging before FLL. So they just use red and orange to indicate both areas, but all of these are judging rooms for students. I also wanted to point out on the third floor, we are going to have gender neutral bathrooms again this year. So they're located in the bottom left of Hall A3. They're also located next to the first LEGO League Challenge area. And we also have a quiet room here in the very back top right corner of this drawing. So if you have any students that need a space to get out of the noise and the craziness, everyone is invited to spend time in this room if they do need a quiet moment. So I did want to point this out. This information is also available in the event guide if you're looking for the specific room number, and I believe can be found on the app. All right, get excited. The reason everyone came to the call tonight, here's our floor plan. So we have 4 divisions this year, which doubles the floor plan that we've had in the past. And as you can see, the pits are going to map to the same locations as the competition fields. So top left is Franklin in the pits, top left is Franklin on the competition fields. Franklin and Jemison will be one conference, and Ochoa and Edison will be another conference. There's so much information to share. I'm trying to make sure I get it all to you in a sensical way. But when you first arrive on Tuesday, you're going to arrive at the very top of this drawing up here. This is where the loading docks are. You can also come in through the front door, so you'll only take an elevator up to the 3rd floor, and you'll come in down here on the bottom right part of the drawing. What you'll want to do is make your way to pit admin, which will be in the center of the pits here marked by the blue star. This is where you get the team packet. North or top of pit admin will be the robot hardware inspection station, and below will be the satellite badge registration station. So everything you need is right here. This blue squiggly line is just apparently what the line will look like as people wait for their badges, but that probably won't really be there like this. We do have some team seating areas down here. So if you have lunch or you have a grandmother that wants to sit at a table with you, this area will be seating in the pits for teams. We also have the robot support booths, are these 10 by 20 booths down here. We have an EMT station, which is going to be down here at the bottom of the pits. We have 8 practice fields, which is the most practice fields we have ever had. So it will be 2 per each division. We've got all the bleachers, we're going to have screens, more information to come, but this is what our site is going to look like. All right, next, I did see a lot of questions about pits in the questions, so I'm hoping I can answer them all here. The team pit spaces will be 10 feet by 10 feet by 10 feet, so they can only be 10 feet wide, 10 feet tall, and 10 foot the other wide. They must be safe and structurally sound. So you can bring things that if you want to hang or put them up, but they cannot infringe on anyone else's pits area, and they must be safe. If we see anything that's outside of the space that's allowed, we'll ask you to take it down. Teams will also receive 1 6-foot table. So every pit area will get 1 table and access to 1 power source. Pits will not have any chairs, but please enjoy the bleacher seating and watch the teams on the competition fields. If you would like to bring chairs, you're more than welcome to. A lot of people bring like those tailgating or lawn concert chairs that you can fold up really small. Those are great to bring and keep them in your pits. People bring bean bags, blow up chairs, all kinds of things, but we will not be providing chairs for you in your pits. So please make whatever accommodation you need to make. Pits will be separated by 3-foot pipe and drape. So that will be the separation for everyone. All right, now the World Championship schedule. This is available in the First Tech Challenge event guide addendum, also on our website, also on our app. I like it the best in this format because you can see everything you need all in a row. But I'll quickly walk you through the highlights. As we've mentioned, check-in will be 3 to 6:30 on Tuesday. Robot hardware inspection will be 3:30 to 6:30 with the pits closing at 7. No one will be allowed to stay in the pits after 7 o'clock on Tuesday. Pits open at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. You cannot come into the pits before they're officially open. At 7 o'clock, we will open them and we'll have 1 hour for team check-in and registration for anyone that did not make it in on Tuesday. Scheduled judge interview appointments and scheduled field inspection appointments will be happening from 8:30 to 11:30. up to lunch. We're gonna have a quick break for everybody at lunchtime. So everyone will have this hour off. Then we're gonna come back, wrap up the inspection appointments, do the last minute robot hardware inspections that didn't get done from Tuesday, and get everybody through inspection so that all the robots are ready for competition on Wednesday afternoon. The next thing we'd love everyone to be at is the 2 o'clock drivers meeting. So this will be at the competition fields, and it will be led by our chief head intergalactic referee, Mark Edelman, and he'll be addressing all of the information that the drivers will need for the event from the competition field. So we invite everyone to fill in the bleachers and be there for that. Following the drivers meeting, we will have our First Tech Challenge competition kickoff and welcome. So this is an exciting ceremony. We're going to give out the Compass Award. We're going to give out the Promote Award. We're going to give out our Volunteer of the Year Award. We're going to have some really exciting speakers, and we're going to get everybody's energy up to kick off our week with a bang. After that, we're going to do qualification matches. So each and every team will have one qualification match on Wednesday. So make sure, we love doing that because it gives every team a chance to make their way through queuing, figure out where they need to go, and get a chance to be a little more comfortable in the competition space. On Thursday, we have matches all day long, and it's a blast, and everybody loves it, and it's a great day. Thursday, we really get into our groove, people figure out where to go and how to do it, and it just runs itself, and we love Thursday. Friday, we have matches all day again, but they are celebrated at the end of the day by our mascot parade. So if your team has a mascot, we are going to celebrate them. We're going to have a lineup at Pit Admin, more information to come, but we will have this mascot parade. And then following the mascot parade, we do alliance selection on Friday. And this is so our finalists and winning alliances can all spend time on Friday evening getting their game plans ready for Saturday. Pits open at 7:30 on Saturday, and then our elimination matches drivers meeting will be at 8:15. So that is the first time everybody will need to be at the competition fields again for our elimination matches drivers meeting. Then we'll do our semifinal matches and our division final matches. This year, for the very first time, we're doing our divisional award ceremony. So each division will be giving out judged awards, which we're really excited about. And then we'll all break for lunch, one quick hour. We'll come back for the one first closing celebration. So every person at the event will be watching the same exact show for the one first closing celebration. Dean will speak. It'll be really exciting. So that's going to be a great part of the day. Then we will have our final conference matches, our event final matches, and our final award ceremony where we give out the final award trophies and the final Inspire Award winning trophy. So that all happens at the end of the day on Saturday. Loadout finishes up after the end of the matches on Saturday. So Saturday is a little tricky. If your team is not competing, you are able to load out throughout the day. So it's kind of a slow drip on Saturday for teams that load out. We do have a lot of teams that take their stuff out on Friday and then they come back on Saturday to watch all the matches, but they don't have to worry about emptying out their pits or cleaning out all the rest of their stuff. So that is something that some of our teams do. This is just a highlight of the ceremonies that we talked about. Up next, we've got matches. So for the very first time this year, I'm really excited to tell you that all of our teams will get 11 qualifying matches. This is the most we've ever had. I was really excited the schedule allowed us to do that this year. So I can't promise that this will happen every year from now on out, but this year we had time and schedule for 11 matches. So I hope the kids are really excited about that. We're gonna have volunteer queuers helping teams get to the right place at the right times, but teams are responsible for getting to their matches on time. So all teams will get a match list. You'll know when you're up. There will be a running schedule on in the background, but you are gonna have to make sure you're not missing any matches. I also wanna touch on the question box. I think all events that you've been to should have had a question box. But the question box rules are outlined in our game manual, and you must make sure you follow them. They'll also be discussed in the drivers meeting. We ask that you please bring an official backup for your question, including a copy of the game form or a copy of the game manual, and your gracious professionalism when you come to the question box. You also have to use the question box within 3 matches during the qualification rounds. All right, so loadout. Official loadout is 8:30 a.m. on Saturday to 6 p.m. So you can take your stuff out on Friday, but you must carry it out yourself the front doors. The loading dock will not be open. You cannot bring your car up on Friday. So if you want to get stuff out of there Friday night, you need to carry it out yourself. On Saturday, we will open up the loading doors, and you'll be able to bring your bigger pieces and your trucks and your trailers and your buses up to the back of the space between 8:30 and 6 p.m. There will be volunteers available to help you move your things out. You can read these slides at your leisure. All right, events and ceremonies. So we talked a little about this. We've got the welcome on Wednesday, and then we wrap up all of our rest of our ceremonies on Saturday. So these are really exciting days for everybody who's at the event. I did want to mention the first block party at Discovery Green. That will be Wednesday through Friday. There's going to be a variety of activities, including giant family-friendly lawn games, dance party, movies, concerts. It's fun. There will be more information in the app as we get closer to the event. There are also championship conferences that are happening Wednesday through Friday. So the conference will include sessions and workshops on topics that are important to the FIRST community. The tracks include discovery, innovation, impact, inclusion, and teamwork. So if you have people traveling with your team that have time, you are welcome to attend these conferences. Information available on the app. I also want to talk a little bit about security. So for the most part, Houston and the pits and the competition space is totally safe. But you do want to make sure to keep your valuable items with you or placed in a lockable compartment in your pit station. A lot of teams put stuff in robot crates or put it underneath their table. Robots and stuff are usually fine. We do not recommend leaving phones, laptops, expensive electronics out and about in your pit. The FIRST and the Georgia Brown Convention Center do not guarantee the security of your personal items. So I would just really, keep those on your person, leave them in your hotel room unless you need them. You don't really want to leave them there overnight. You can report any lost items to the event information desk. That's on the first floor, close to registration. There is security in the area at night, but the pits are open to the public, so anybody can come in and walk through them. So I did just want to mention that. Venue security. This is important. I've gotten a lot of questions about this. So when teams come, each morning when you come into the venue, there is security. So it's very similar to if you're going to a baseball game or a concert. They check your bag, they walk you through a metal detector. So the less stuff that you bring, the faster you will get through. We really recommend, if you don't need it, to just leave it behind. This line is also the most crowded first thing in the morning because everybody is trying to get to the venues. So especially if you have an early match first in the morning, we really recommend you leave a little bit of extra time for security, because especially early in the week, the security guys are still figuring this out. Like, why do you have a crazy tool or a screwdriver, or what is this battery thing that you're bringing? So the security lines can be a little complicated. So make sure you leave enough time to get through them. This is not a FIRST rule. This is also a venue rule. You are not allowed to bring any outside food or drinks into the space, just like a concert, just like a baseball game. They don't let you bring your snacks in. If you have a medical reason, you can speak to a security person and they'll work with you to get what you need through. I also, as mentioned previously, recommend bringing an empty water bottle and filling it up on site. That way you can get water whenever you want. I don't have a lot of specifics about exactly what you need for the medical reason to get your food through. It's really a venue issue, so I would reach out to the venue if you have a specific concern. All right, the major event changes. We're moving to 192 teams this year, so that is really exciting. We're gonna have over 300 additional people in this space. We're moving to 4 divisions. We're doubling the floor plan. So it's gonna be crazy. We're very excited. We're also increasing to 11 qualification matches per team. And we're increasing our volunteer count to help accommodate all of these space increases. And we are building our fields on stages to up the ante and impressiveness of our event. So I would like to show you some pictures of what these stages are going to look like. The stage spaces are up on 24 inches tall. So that will be up off the ground a little bit, but the kids and the robots will all be completely level. The stages are 20 feet by 28 feet. Drive teams will be allowed to be up on the stages and a few volunteers. We're going to ask that you help work with your team to make sure everyone is as safe as possible coming up and down these steps. All right. We're really excited to see you all at the FIRST Championship. It's going to be an incredible event filled with our very best volunteers and our very, very best teams. So we can't wait to see you there. Thank you so much for listening to this very long presentation. I hope it was useful. It will be recorded and emailed out. The PowerPoint will be emailed out and the recorded call will be emailed out to all the coaches and mentors that got this invitation. I'm going to turn it over to questions now. I did just want to mention, so if you wanted to drop off and you don't want to listen to me read through all the questions, feel free, or you are welcome, more than welcome to stay on, and I'll be addressing all the questions that were sent in on the question box. All right, that was exciting. Okay. Whoa. Okay, we have a lot of questions. So, any guidance for trailer parking? I personally do not have any guidance for trailer parking. There is parking information available in the volunteer guide addendum. I am not positive how specific it is for trailers. I see a question from Francis that talks about the practice fields being on concrete and the competition fields being on a different surface. That will be happening again. The practice fields will be on concrete and the competition fields will be on wooden stages. So that's something new. We've never done it before. We'll have to see how it goes. Julie asked about the role of the team media representative. So the team media representative is a person on the team who gets a button, and it just allows you to sit in a specific area to take pictures or videos of your team. Julie asked if the paperwork for Worlds is the same as a regular qualifier, for example, the robot and field inspection checklist, the control award, judging feedback form. Say yes, those forms are the same. Lisa asked when the schedule will be released. I did want to mention the schedule, the event schedule is public. That's available to anyone who wants it. And then your team will be receiving their inspection and judging appointments tomorrow, which is exciting. And they'll also get them upon check-in. They'll be available in your check-in packet. Jeffrey said when we register parents and coaches, they show up as team members in the system. Is that okay? Yes. Are Crocs in sport mode closed back shoes? They are not. And they also don't technically count as closed toed shoes either. So I would recommend a different sort of shoe for the event. This one we addressed. Does an adult coach or mentor need to remain with the team at the convention center all times? Absolutely. There always needs to be an adult with the team at all times for the entirety of the event. Pamela asked, do we need to check in at the event registration before check-in at pit admin? Those 3 check-in opportunities are interchangeable. You can do them in whatever order you want, whatever line is shortest. We do just encourage you to do all of them at the just do all of them. Shannon asked if the timing for a judging session doesn't work, is there any option to switch? And the answer to that is unfortunately no. With 192 teams, we just don't have the ability to make accommodations or changes for each and every team that needs it. So the judging and field inspection times are firm. We're not able to change those. Nova asked about pit maps. That is coming. You'll be able to see that in the championship app, hopefully by Friday, I think, definitely by next week. Sean asked about Wi-Fi in the venue. So there will be Wi-Fi available in the venue. We do shut off all the Wi-Fi in the FTC space to support optimal robot performance. So if you're looking for Wi-Fi, you will have to go maybe down to the 2nd floor or travel around a little bit to look for that. Jonathan asked if a team admin or mentor can pick up badges, or does it have to be a coach? The answer to that is that it has to be an adult. They will ask you who the badges are under. So you'll need to know who signed up for the badges to be able to pick them up. You also have to present an ID to grab the badges. Someone asked if the footwear restrictions apply for the first block party. It's only for the convention center. We only care what you wear when you're near the robots. We don't want anyone to get injured. It's really a safety issue. So just say, you know, if you bring flip-flops, wear them all you want outside of the venue. Conference divisions will be released tomorrow. You'll be getting that in your email. Check your email. Michelle asked, can we bring our robots into the venue before 3 p.m. on the 18th? No, you cannot. I mean, you can stand in the venue, but we will not open the FTC space until 3. That's a hard time. You won't be let in before 3. We won't be ready. You know, we have volunteers for really setting up the space. We're not going to be ready until 3 o'clock. Another safety issue. We have machinery in there and a lot of things going on. Okay. We have a few questions, a lot of questions that are similar questions, but a little bit different wording. So I want to make sure I answer the gist of it, but make sure you all have the information you need. Someone asked if we have a printer on site. The answer to that is no. So if you need a printer to print anything out for your engineering portfolio or your team roster, I would work with your hotel room. Some teams bring printers, so maybe you could ask if any teams have them. We do not have a publicly accessible printer for teams available. Sean asked if the judging presentations are done in a separate room that is quiet or if they'll be separated by curtains, just to not have to listen to me. Jill, do you want to talk a little bit about the judging rooms?
Yeah, I can talk about that. Can you pull up the venue 3rd floor again? And let's talk through that, right? So we have 192 teams. We have 4 divisions. Each division will have 48 teams. And we have 8 panels of judges, right? So 8 times 4 means 32 rooms. I'm looking at the space. There's 2, 4, 6, 12 rooms. So I believe there will be 3 teams in each one of those rooms, right? So what we did last year and what we do try to do is have the people face different directions so that the kids talking from one side are not talking towards the other teams. So, you know, either all facing one direction, front to back, but basically what we try to do is get the sound as minimized as we can. They are standard conference spaces. They are not something, unfortunately, well suited for this type of purpose, but we've done this now for as long as we've been in Houston and Detroit and St. Louis before that, right? We make it work, right? So just recognize that it could be a little crazy, crowded, a little noisy. Make sure your team is prepared to articulate, you know, speak not softly, right? So speak with purpose, ensure that you're heard. Recommend to minimize the audience. We do allow an adult to, particularly if they need someone to come and translate, we do allow people to enter with the team, but the more audience or more people you bring in, the more crazy it gets. So recommend no one if you can. If you need someone to assist, maybe you have a student on a spectrum or neurodiverse that needs some support, you know, we're there to be as supportive as we can and as accommodating, but recognize the more people you bring into the space, the more just things happen, right? Cell phones go off, people sneeze, all kinds of things, all kinds of noises, but we make it work. And that is just your formal interview. Every single team will be seen in the pits a second time. And that's an even noisier environment. Yeah, go.
This is asking if the judges will be visiting team pits during the division lunch breaks.
No, during lunch breaks, generally we would not. We will taking our lunches at the same time, right? I think everyone pauses for lunch, but we do track and make sure every single team is visited in the pits. So we do take great pride in what we call showing the love, the judge love.
I've got some more questions for you. Will formal clothing be recommended for the judging interview?
Will what be recommended?
Formal clothing.
Oh, formal clothing. If that's your team identity, like, you know, team identity fits into the Motivate Award, right? So you can take a look at how that comes across and how that fits in to the story that you're telling, right? It's a marketing pitch, right? So if I'm selling this, you know, product, my robot and my team, and this is who we are and our values, and this fits into my team identity, that's what you're aiming for. So formal, informal, like that doesn't, matter. What we're looking for is that it fits together, right? That it's a cohesive identity is really what we're looking at.
Do you want one portfolio copy for each judge in the room?
No, only one for the room. Please, not 3, not 2, 1. You can have one in your pits. We encourage additional resources in the pits. So if you have a notebook, if you have CAD drawings, if you have pamphlets, leave all of that stuff in the pits. That will be the place for that. There will be at least 2 judges in each of the rooms to talk to you. There may be 3. Right now, we're expecting to have 2 judges in each room, and only 1 portfolio, only 1 judge feedback form, and only 1 control submission form, please.
Can the students bring their robot and supplemental material like a trifold to the judging session?
Yes. Yeah, just recognize though it's minimum space, right? So if you're setting up very complex presentation that takes a lot of space, you might have to be creative in how you use that. Similar if you have a very large team of 15 students or more trying to fill in to the space, we would encourage you to bring your entire team to judging interviews. And I think that is in the game manual part 1, that is the expectation, that all students on the team that are present at the venue are attending the judging interview.
This Dave's Region provides projectors or TVs throughout the season to support the presentation. Will either be available at Worlds?
No, no, and we can't even say you'll have access to power. But that said, you're talking to 2 or 3 people. You can set a laptop on the table if you have presentation materials that you need to show.
Someone asked if they can use microphones at the presentation.
Microphones, you're talking to 2 people. No, please, no. You have 2 other teams that are in that same physical space. So we need to be sensitive to that. So please, please no.
All right, for judging, are presentations only allowed to be 5 minutes, or are teams allowed to present up to the 10-minute mark?
Yeah, so the expectation from the judges is they will be quiet and not interrupt you at 5. But what we will tell them is that they should start interrupting you very politely at 5 minutes plus 15 seconds or 20 seconds. Like, you shouldn't consider that you can just keep talking. And we do know we have teams that literally will fill the whole time. You get a dedicated 5 minutes. After that, we're encouraging the judges to say, hey, time out, we heard you, but we have a set of questions that we need to ask. You might cover that or you might not, but it's in your best interest to actually answer the questions that the judges want to ask. Now you can weave those things in, right? So if you have important information that you want to share to judges and they have not asked the question to get that out of you, like, you can do a segue, right? You can say, I know you're talking about X, but I want to talk about Y. Here's your answer to X, but let's spend a minute over here talking about this other topic that I want to make sure that you hear.
All right.
Is that all for judging?
Oh, no. I might take a break so we can get to some other topics.
Let's get some other topics. I'll be here. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jill. It's nice to have a little voice break for everyone. This one I'm going to send to Michael. Do we need to put our driver station on the competition playing field Alliance station stand, or may we hold it the way we usually do at our competition at home?
Hello, can you hear me this time?
Perfect.
I remember to unmute myself. Fantastic, thank you. Great question. Of course, during match play, you are welcome to and encouraged to hold your driver station. So the answer is yes, you may hold your driver station. It does not have to sit on the Alliance station stand. That is there for your convenience. You don't have to use it. It has to stay there. You can't move it away from where it's located, but you don't have to use it.
I have another one for you.
Oh, good.
This team has multiple drive teams for a total of 6 kids. Can they send more than 5 drivers to the appointment?
That's a good question. And as much as we would like to be accommodating, you can kind of sort of get a feel from the drawings. It's really a confined space. So when you have all of the teams and the robots and often robot carts, plus all the field inspection volunteers and the technical help, it gets kind of crowded. So we really want to limit 5 per team, but it is a good idea to maybe mix and match students from both drive teams, so that there's at least a couple people on every drive team going through the whole inspection process, so they can share that information out with their own group that aren't able to do it. And since we are in the competition area, the team can sit up in the stands and watch and see what happens and see how the robots move through the process, how they're put up on the stage in a safe manner. So they can get a feel for what's going on, but only 5 can actually go through the process.
All right, thank you, Michael. Mark, I'm gonna ask you a question next, but as you unmute, I'm just gonna quickly answer this one. Am I able to keep the robot and tools at the venue overnight? Will it be safe? Sean, we do most teams keep their robot and their tools at the venue overnight. They typically cover them with like a tablecloth or just put them underneath something. We haven't yet had any issues with tools or robots. I wouldn't leave your tablets or your phones or laptops out and like overnight. I hope that helps answer. All right, Mark, this one is for you. For form updates, do they need to be printed, or can students use their phones to show the referees the backup?
It would be better if they were printed. The challenge is your phone is small, and trying to use that as a conversation piece while talking to the head referees may be very limiting. So either a larger tablet or a printed version would be more helpful than trying to look at a phone screen, please.
Thank you, Mark, for that official answer. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Stephanie asked, she said that if there's a table provided in the booth, if we don't need it, can we get rid of it somehow? That is an interesting question. If you wanted to get rid of it, we wouldn't be able to let all 192 teams put their tables somewhere else. So I think you could probably fold it up and stick it in the back of your pit, but it will have to stay in your pit space. I hope that helps. Someone asked about the judging feedback form. I did put the link to that in the chat. Shannon asked if they can do pit setup on Wednesday afternoon. That is okay. Your team does need to be checked in by 8 o'clock on Wednesday though. So you don't need to set up your pit right away, but you will need to be checked in by 8 a.m. on Wednesday. Also on Wednesday afternoon, the loading docks will no longer be open or manned. So if you do come in and want to set up on Wednesday, you'll have to bring whatever you're bringing through the front doors and up to the 3rd level on your own. You won't be able to bring a truck up the back that time. All right. So I've gotten a few questions like this. People are asking when you'll find out about your judging and inspection appointments. Those emails are coming tomorrow, so check your emails. You're gonna get your judging appointment, your inspection, your robot field inspection appointment, and your division are all coming out in your email tomorrow, so definitely check for that. Someone asked if a team can be assigned a later judging time on Wednesday because of a late flight arrival. I'm so sorry, we're not able to accommodate any judging or inspection time changes because we have 192 teams and we really need to get them all judged and inspected in time. So we aren't able to make any schedule changes for teams, and I do apologize, it's just not a feasible solution. All right. For parents of family that are registered via StreamPoint, do coaches pick up their badges or do they pick them up themselves when they arrive? Might be a Wednesday or Thursday or Friday. That's a great question. If they're registered with the team, if you put them in the whole team group of badges, they will be printed with that group. If they register themselves as attendees, which you can also do on our website, it's a different stream. Attendee team, it doesn't matter if they're the family members of your team, they can be attendees or team members. But if they are coming later in the week, I would encourage them to register separately as attendees, and that way they can pick up their badges in whatever works for their own schedule. Or you can register them with your team and you can print them out and hand them to them when they arrive. That's up to you. Jill, we've got another judging question if you're ready. Can teams give handouts to the judges as part of their presentation?
Yes, they can. And judges love swag. They love getting the treats. But recognize that A, it doesn't influence anything we're doing. It's not required. And it may not get the consideration that you were expecting, right? So it shouldn't be a portfolio number 2, right, as an example. But teams are welcome to hand out buttons. We've had some very interesting types of gifts or, you know, swag kinds of things. And what I tell the judges, what we tell the judges is they cannot differentiate, right? So they can't, if you're going to accept swag from teams, you have to accept all things that teams give you. If you don't wish to do so, you have to say no to everyone. And so you can't just pick and choose which things you accept. And so some judges will say no thank you, and that's okay. They will say no thank you to all teams. If you, for some reason, have issues with that, I will be a presence, as will all of the 4 judge advisors for each division. And I think you'll be able to see who we are at the welcome ceremony. Is that a fair statement, Marissa? So we will, yes. We will be there, and we'll be hopefully very noticeable, and you'll be able to know. And if you're seeing any issues, happy to have a conversation with your team.
Thank you, Jill. One more, and then I'm going to switch to a different topic. Okay. Do judges have to be in the room during judging?
Can you ask that again?
Sorry, do coaches have to be in the room?
Okay, yes. I was like, yes. I think if you ask, do the judges have to be in the room when they're judging? And the answer to that is yes. But do coaches have to be? No. And in fact, I would tell you my experience in 20 years, teams do better when the coach isn't there. They get more nervous. They are more sensitive to how they say things. They're more self-conscious. They generally freeze up more. The more, like, parents are even worse than their coaches. That said, sometimes there is advantages. As I said, if you have a neurodiverse student, if you want to just even write down what are the kinds of questions that teams get. If you don't have a large team, you want to just take notes. We have had people try to record the sessions. That doesn't work. The acoustics, like, we're not going to have time to set up miking and all of that. So don't plan to record. But yeah, I mean, it's acceptable, but I will tell you the teams generally do better without you there.
Thanks, Jill. I'm going to transition to bathrooms now. So
okay, it's on you. That's not me.
All right. So someone asked about non-gender neutral bathrooms. This picture is actually perfect. So you can see all of these little people are bathroom stations. So there's going to be bathrooms at the top right of the main hall. And then once you go out into this front hall, you can go down all of these other hallways, and there's a few other sets of bathrooms. So if you're looking to not be in a gender neutral bathroom, there are plenty of others to choose from. I do want to highlight the gender neutral ones are the bottom left of the First Tech Challenge area and right next to the first LEGO League area. But you can see this map is also available on the app. So if you are trying to find these bathrooms on site, you can pull this map up in the app and find yourself down a hallway to get to the array of bathrooms that we have available. Will you have carpet under the practice fields? The carpet makes the field squishy, and so robots sink in. If there is no carpet under practice fields, Auto works different. There will be no carpet underneath practice fields, and there will be no carpet underneath competition fields this year. So no carpet to worry about. Are teams allowed to bring an extra table? Absolutely. If you can carry it in and out yourself, you are allowed to bring in another table. Evan asked if one power source means one outlet. The answer to that is yes. We do highly recommend that you bring a power strip to plug in your items. If you have any issues with power, you can report that to pit admin, and we will be calling the venue staff to help reinstate anybody's power. Please do be thoughtful of your neighbors, though. You are sharing plugs with the pits that are around you. Jeremy asked when the match schedules will be delivered. This is always a highly excited part of the day on Wednesday. We can't print match schedules until all of the teams have checked in and passed inspection, which is why we really want everyone to show up early and get their inspection. So as soon as that is done, you will receive your match schedules, but I would say you're most likely not going to get them until right before, I would say around 3 o'clock. So after the drivers meeting, we typically give them out. So around 3 o'clock on Wednesday. Will judges be visiting the pits on Saturday? Nope, all of the awards will need to be decided by Saturday. So they will not be visiting pits on Saturday.
Actually, I want to add one slight modification to that.
Sorry.
Judges have a special obligation, not obligation, they have a special recognition. They're allowed to recognize one student, and they may do that on Saturday, but it's not a judged thing. It's something completely different. It's a special judge, FTC judge recognition thing. That may occur on Saturday, but
Okay.
all of the judges will be locked and loaded by Friday night. So yeah, that's just wanted to clarify that.
While you're here, for the control award, our region submitted digitally and had the option of including a link to a video. Is including a control award video linked by a barcode an option for this event?
Yeah, not at all. Actually, to this event, our judges, our control panel, will be able to watch matches both in the judging deliberation rooms, as well as go out and talk to your team. They may actually even ask you to demonstrate something on a practice field, right? So there will be no opportunity, and I would not include that information. They should not be going out to external sites for that, so.
We've got another lunch question. Will judges be in the pits during lunch? Last year, judges did show up in pits during lunch.
Okay, I will ask them not to, but they might. You know, basically it comes down to how big is your team and how many people do you have in your pit at any particular time. If they're struggling to find your team, let's say you're a team of, you know, a small number of students, and they're either scouting in the pits or on the competition floor and not a lot of time in the pits, they may be looking for creative times to actually find you. So I can't guarantee that they won't come at lunch, but they should be eating, judges should be eating lunch at the same time as you. So, but if they don't find you at lunch, or if you're busy, you can say, hey, we're eating right now. Is it possible for you to come back at this time? We'll be free and available in our pits. It is sometimes, though, a challenge for our judges, particularly with small teams. They disappear quite easily, and I am very concerned this year with 4 divisions and so many teams that we're going to be able to find everybody. So,
Thank you, Joe. Is there a handicap accessible way to get to the playing field? The answer is yes. When you sign up for your badges, there is a question that all teams must answer that says if your team needs wheelchair access. So if your team does, please make sure you fill this out so we have the information ahead of time. We'll be keeping track of which teams need wheelchair access. There will be a stage lift that will be manned and powered by the venue. So we will have a way to get your wheelchair up to the stage if we need to. It would really, really help us if you let us know ahead of time. So please, when you're filling out your badging information, let us know that. If you have a family member or a friend who's coming that's not on the drive team that needs a wheelchair, that is okay. We don't necessarily need to know that. But if you do have a drive team member that needs a wheelchair, definitely please fill it out. And if you want to shoot me an email, my email is mlucas@firstinspires.org, and I'll just make sure that your team is noted on the schedule to be needing that access. We do have a plan. I wish it was a little bit easier for the stages, but we have a plan in place, and we'll make sure that everybody that needs to get up to the stages can get up there. Francis asked about the surface of the platforms will be identical to the surface on the practice field. The answer to that is no. The practice fields are going to be on the cement floor of the convention center. The platforms are going to be made out of a plywood material, so they will be more similar than carpet to cement, but they will be a little bit different. Someone asked if they could pack a lunch. You aren't able to bring any outside food into the venue, but if you wanted to have a parent or leave it in your car or park it, you're more than welcome to pack lunches and eat them outside. We actually are encouraging teams to go outside for lunch. Gives you a chance to be outside in the beautiful Texas air, spend some time in the park, get away from the craziness that's inside. So if you want to pack lunches or get pizzas delivered to the park, do food trucks at the park, you're welcome to do all of those things. Someone asked if the team directory will be available in the app. The answer to that is yes, it's coming. I'm hoping by the end of the week we'll have all the teams uploaded onto the app so you can see who everybody is and where they're coming from. Patricia asked if we're dealing with static charge on the fields on stages. The last time we played was on a stage was at Ford Field. Oh, and the static was horrible. Yes, those stages were on a completely different material that was like a plasticky decking that was really static. So we're not anticipating static issues with these wooden fields. We will be bringing static spray if we need it. And we are prepared for static issues, but we're not expecting them. If we have our portfolio bound, is it okay to have the control award bound behind it? I'm going to shoot that one to Jill.
That's a good question. I would prefer that they were not bound together. Basically, the portfolio is used by multiple teams of award panels. So not just the Think panel, but also every single award is looking for different material in that portfolio, including the control award panel is looking for specific things in the portfolio. So if you bind those together, then every single time one of the other teams of judges needs to find it, they have to actually go and track down the control award panel. So don't bind those things together. The control submission is supposed to be a small number of pages. I think it's 1 or 2, and I apologize, I don't know that off the top of my head, but it shouldn't be something you really need to bind. You might just staple or otherwise put it together. But yeah, don't mix it with the portfolio, please. Don't bind them together.
Thank you, Jill. Sorry for my face. I was reading.
Yeah. Is there any other judges? Are we good?
This one's from Scott. It says, who is the best resource to define cone pinning in auto? I'm a little confused about the who. Mark, does the question make more sense to you?
And that's a question we'll defer to the drivers meeting
Great.
When we do it. One of the things we want to make sure with those kinds of questions is the answers are broadcast to everybody that's there so that everybody has the same information and is prepared to be understood in the same way.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Drivers meeting. We hope to see you there. It is at 2. It's at 2 o'clock Central Time on your screen. Looking forward to seeing you. Jeffrey asked about parking trailers. Jeffrey, I'm so sorry. Parking trailers is not my forte, but there is parking available at the venue. There's also parking information, lots and prices that are listed in the volunteer addendum, which is available on our firstchampionship.org's website. I don't have that information or the links right off the top of my head, but if you check out the volunteer addendum, that is where we have the most up-to-date parking information. There should also be some information on the firstchampionship.org's website. I apologize, I can't answer directly right now. All right, we're starting to get a little bit repetitive, but I'll keep them coming to make sure everyone gets their question answered. Will there be security in the pits to ensure the safety of robots tools that are left in the convention center? It sounds like the answer is no. Should we not be leaving our tools and equipment in the convention center overnight? As previously mentioned, you are more than welcome to leave your tools in your robot. We recommend that you cover them with a tablecloth, with your table, with a blanket, with something just so they're out of sight, out of mind. We have never had issues. I gotta stop nervous even saying it. We've never had any issues with a robot or tools. I I just wouldn't leave your laptops, your phones, cameras, screens out, anything that you could pick up and walk away with. There is security in the venue at night. There are a lot of people in the venue at night. It's big, the doors are open. There's a lot of people that work there. There's people that can get in. So one security guy walking around might not catch everything. So I would take any valuables home with you. Robots and tools are usually pretty safe. How about parking for minivans at the convention center? I'm going to defer to my previous parking statement. I don't have the top of the line parking information. I would check the First Championship website. And then the volunteer addendum probably has more information about parking. There is some available on site. I think though it will probably fill up quickly. About Judges Award, you said that each division will get Judges Awards separately. Yes, each division will be giving out their own Judges Awards. Could you please provide a direct link to the CNR form and not just the First Inspires? I would love to. I don't have that link available to me, but if you want to email ftcteams@firstinspires.org, they should be able to send you the link to the CNR form. Stages are a horrible idea. You will have so many robots disconnect from static buildup. Thank you for your feedback. Will there be carpet on the wooden stages under the field? No. The carpet will be on the floor underneath the stages. Underneath the stages, not on the top of the stages or underneath the playing field. Is there a practice field in certain hotels overnight? We do not provide practice fields outside of the venue space, so there's going to be 8 practice fields, 2 per division available in the pits whenever the pits are open except for Tuesday and Wednesday morning. So those practice fields will open up Wednesday afternoon and be available the rest of the week. All right, we've got some more questions about divisions. Those are getting emailed out tomorrow. Match schedules are coming. We need all the teams to check in and all the teams to pass inspection before we can hand out match schedules. Those will probably come out after the drivers meeting on Wednesday. So probably around 3 o'clock on Wednesday. Divisions are coming in your email tomorrow. Can a non-coach parent check in the team on Tuesday? Yes, it does need to be an adult. We need an adult to check in the team on Tuesday. It cannot be a student. We got a lot of these division release questions. Are you guys not reading the chat questions that I've answered? If you're packing your own lunch, is there enough time to walk to Discovery Green and back during the lunch hour? Definitely. It's right outside the front doors. The schedule is available for you to see on the website. And once we have the match schedule, you'll know when your matches are. So typically it's enough time to hop outside, have your lunch and come back. We give most teams an hour and a half for lunch for most of the days. I think Wednesday's a little busy, but the rest of the days are a lot more easygoing. Someone asked if wheelchairs are available. The venue doesn't provide wheelchairs and First doesn't have wheelchairs. There are a few rental spaces around Houston. I'm a little apprehensive to share any sites specifically with you because I haven't used them. Jill, would you be comfortable sharing your scooter rental information in the chat?
I will look it up. Yeah, so last year I was recovering from ankle surgery. So I did rent, had it delivered to the Marriott where I was staying, and that's where they picked it up. So it was quite convenient. I didn't have to pick it up myself. They dropped it off, all of that. So they handled everything through the hotel. I just obviously had to order it. And I will look that up and I'll put it in the chat. The other thing I found, if you go to downtownhouston.org, there is a parking page with a lot of lots and probably some information. But I imagine Google Maps, if you actually search in at the satellite view, could probably identify surface lots that would at least be open and accommodating to pulling the trailer in. Likely you'll have to pay for 2 slots, but I would do some recon on the parking as well. But let me go off camera and see if I can find that information. And I just saw the audience question around judge visits in the pits. Those are not scheduled. So we have multiple panels of judges. They will come out. They get list of teams that they need to see, and they just see them in the order that they want. Basically, it's who's available to see. I have this list that I need to go and find, and then they generally talk to a few others as well. But there is no specific schedule for those pit visits. They will be starting Wednesday, basically after the welcome ceremony, probably within 30 minutes. They will be back out visiting, and then again all day Thursday and most of the day Friday. So yeah, definitely, if you can always have one student in your pits who can at least say, hey, the team's not here, here's when they're expected back. That would be really helpful to the judges. Let me go off and see if I can find where I rented my scooter, because I know they also have wheelchairs as well.
Thanks, Jill. I've got a couple questions for Michael, and then we are going to wrap these up. We're coming up to an hour and a half, so I don't want to make everybody sit on here forever. Michael, we had someone ask if you could please explain the CSA help desk for teams that have any issues with the robots in transit. Do you mind talking a little bit more about that again? I can go back to the slide.
Sure. So most of the time when the pit is open on Tuesday, we have I think around six to eight technical volunteers that will be available on a first come, first served basis to help teams with any technical problem. So they don't have any spare parts, but they do have their brains, and they'll be happy to help you debug, track down, trace down, give advice on maybe how to modify your software to get the performance you're asking for. So any technical question you have, we will likely have a volunteer that can provide you with high quality help, right? So do you think that covered that, Marissa? Is there something else maybe I should read into it? We have the hours, 30 to 6:30. We have a variety of talents there. Could solve probably almost any robot problem you have, and especially if there's a nagging problem you've had all season, we would love to tackle that. Engineers, they're only happy if they're solving problems. So bring all your problems to the CSAs and make them happy.
I got one more for you, Michael, while you're here. For robot inspection, is it okay to have only one team member attend the robot inspection?
Absolutely, yes, whatever is best for your team. But we do like to have one student there because most robot inspectors really want to know about your robot. They're just not there counting motors, counting servos and things like that. They really want to have a student explain exactly how your robot works, soup to nuts, so they can do a better job of inspecting your robot and understanding how it works. It helps everybody.
Thank you, Michael.
You're
Marissa,
welcome.
Before we go on, yeah, hi, Michael. I'm not able to chat to everybody, so if you could share my answer. Scootaround.com is the TLDR.
Okay. I can send that to everyone. All right. This is a good time for me to ask, actually, Jill, can you see that some of these questions are getting answered? Are those showing up publicly?
They are, yeah.
Okay.
But it's a long list, so if you're not paying very close attention, like I've had to go up and down and scroll. There is a scroll function on the right, but yeah, they were coming pretty hot and heavy for a while. So
Right.
Imagine a few of them didn't get comprehended or read.
Okay.
But yes, they are coming through.
I'm going to do some rapid fire answers here, so everyone get ready. Will there be any carts to help load and unload? No, you are responsible for whatever you need to bring in and out. We apologize, but we just don't have the bandwidth or ability to help people carry their stuff in. So please only bring what you can carry yourself. For the team roster, do we have a standard template or can we use our own? Thanks. The team roster is available in your team dashboard. So we would love it if you could just go into your team dashboard and print it off. The reason we ask for that is because it says whether your team members have signed the consent and release form. So that is why we ask for that team roster. Team roster. Fernando asked about the translation process in the judging session. Can the person be a coach or a mentor? Yes, teams are responsible for bringing their own translators. It can be anybody that you need it to be. We're happy to have them in the judging room translating. This one is for Jill. Can a coach video the judging session?
Yes, they can, but just recognize the audio is probably gonna not be good. And there will be no accommodation for time placement, like you won't be able to bring the video close to the judges. So there will be limits to where you can video, probably closer to the team. So you're basically gonna be, looking at the team this way. It may be better to actually give that in the hands of a team member or some other mechanism, but it won't likely be a good video for you.
We've got some more for you. Will judges come by the pits while the team is competing on the playing field, or will they be sensitive to the team's competition schedule?
Yeah, so as we get through Thursday, if they are not able to find you, they will be more aggressive of looking for you in the queue lines, trying to grab you as you come off the field. They'll be a little bit more relaxed on Wednesday and Thursday morning probably, but if you've been hard to find, they're going to be more aggressive in trying to find you because they really want to hear your story. So that's what I'm saying. If you can put and have a student in your pit, that when the judges come by, they can say, hey, we're not here now. We're on the playing field. They'll be back in 20 minutes, or they took a break. If you have a Slack channel or a WhatsApp or some way of communicating and say, hey, let's actually have them come back in 20 minutes, then we do we want to hear your story. We want to talk to the team, but we also recognize you have a game to play, right? So we do try to be accommodating, but we do want every single team to be visited.
All right, thank you very much. One more, what is the ideal number of students for the judges interview?
All of the students in your team, please. We'd love to hear from them.
Thank you. Then somebody asked how many judges will be in the judging room. The answer to that is 2.
Yeah. There may be 3. There is some small chance of 3, but it's at least 2.
They're dropping like flies. Just kidding. Yes, definitely 2, could be 3. Is a mentor allowed in the judging presentation? The answer to that is yes. In judging session rooms, is there a power source for teams to use? The answer to that is no. So if you need a laptop or anything for your presentation, please make sure it's fully charged. We cannot promise that you'll have a power source to use. Are you allowed to turn your robot on to demo for the judges during the presentation?
Please no. So the judges in the judging interview room are not prepared for your robot to be turned on and move. So please take that into consideration. This would actually be a really great reason to bring a laptop in. You can actually show a small video if there's some specific innovation or design element that needs the robot to be turned on, but please don't turn the robot on itself, please. We don't want any injured judges. That is not a good thing. They will not be wearing safety glasses in the interview rooms generally.
All right. And then is there a limit of the number of team members who are allowed in the judging session?
It's just a limit of the physical space, right? So I think in the game manual part 1, it says a team should be up to 15 members. If you have an excessively large team of a lot more than 15, you probably aren't going to fit, but do let the judges know, right? Hey, we have X number of students on the team. We just brought a subset of them into the judging interview.
Great. Thank you very much, Jill.
Yep.
Someone asked if the loading docks will be available on Wednesday morning. They will be open from 7 until 8 a.m. for check-in. After that, you will not be able to access the loading docks after check-in has closed. When do practice fields open? So those will be opening Wednesday afternoon. More information to come on the practice fields. I will try to throw it up into the FTC event guide addendum so everyone has access to it. They'll be opening up late on Wednesday. They'll definitely open Thursday and Friday, and in the morning on Saturday. All right. Someone asked if they can do pit setup on Wednesday afternoon. You're more than welcome to do that, but the loading docks will be closed Wednesday afternoon. So you'll have to carry anything you want to bring in when the loading docks are open or through the front door. We did the practice fields. Do we print and bring along the judge feedback form versus digitally? Yes, please. We would love a paper copy. Our drive team and media badges being provided at the venue. Yes, you will get those in your check-in packet when you check in. Do badges come with lanyards? Yes, they do. You'll have a lanyard with your badge. It's been in the past a paper badge with a little plastic holder connected to lanyards. This one is for Michael. Does a student need to be there for the robot inspection on Tuesday, or can the coach do that for the team?
So we prefer a student always. However, if it is not possible for a student to be there, I think that I would be open to having an adult do it. I'd rather the team get their robot through inspection than have to wait and do it the next day and have so much more stress. Is that okay with you, Marissa?
That was perfect.
As an exception? As an exception, yes, we'll have an adult do it, but prefer students.
Thank you. Kevin asked how many teams are non-English speaking. I don't have the number off the top of my head. I believe it's around non-English as a first language speaking. I think it's around 25 teams. Most of them have somebody on their team who can speak English. And they're all welcome to bring translators to the event. Someone else asked, will the app be updated with all the information tomorrow as well as the emails that are going out? That would be ideal. I cannot promise tomorrow. I'm hoping to have the app updated by Friday, but it might be early next week. That one, that work is not done by me, but it will be done as soon as possible. All right, so we've got some questions about static on the stages. Questions, stages cause serious static issues. Will you ground the surfaces under the fields? They basically act as a large capacitor, so please ground them to the building. Would you consider this? Thank you for sharing that, Francis. We will take it under advisement and work with the professionals who are setting up our stages for us. They are very familiar with the First Tech Challenge program and our static and electronic and setup needs. All right, I think we've answered this one. Answered this question before. Will pit tables be round or rectangular? The pit tables are 6-foot tables.
So Marissa, for international, they're rectangular. If you see a standard banquet, they are usually 30 inches deep by 6 foot long, and I think 24 inches high. And I don't have the metric measurements.
We have a question about the amp wattage of the electrical that is available. It is a 20 amp outlet for each team is what is going to be supplied. Hope that helps. Do we have to put the robot on a cart between the pit and the field? You do not have to. It is encouraged just for safety reasons, but we will not force it. Somebody asked about notices bearing, conceal, carry weapons in the venue. I don't have the answer to that today. Thank you for asking it. If you want, you can email us at ftcteams@firstinspires.org and we can get you a better answer. I just don't have that information right now. And it's Texas, so it's not my state, so I'm not sure, but please email us if you have a question that we're not getting to. I should have mentioned at the beginning. Please email us. I'll type it in the chat. It is ftcteams@firstinspires.org. Please email us if we didn't get to your question today, or if you need more clarification or you need any additional information. I did just put that in the chat. It's also available on our website. We have so many questions, so I'm so sorry. I did try to get to as many as possible. I can fire through a couple more. People are still hoping to get their question answered. Maybe about 10 more minutes. When are the Dean's List winners announced? That's a great question. That'll be happening on Friday. We're very excited, or the winners will be announced on Friday for all of the Dean's List students, and then they'll be re-announced to the entire event on Saturday. That part's really fun. Congratulations to all our Dean's List finalists. Someone said, I heard the game fields are upraised by blocks. Is the entire field on plywood sheet backing? We have our robot with 15-pound weights. I want to make sure our robots don't sink in or affect IMU from wobbling, creating disturbances on the gyro. The fields are going to be heavily supported, so we are not expecting that your 15-pound robot would have an effect on the field. They should be pretty sturdy. Kevin asked if judges visit the pits on Wednesday. That's a question for Jill.
Yes, they will after the welcome ceremony. So 4-ish, probably closer to 4:30. But yes, we will encourage the judges to get out and talk to the teams as quickly as possible. And to answer the previous Carrie question, RGB, so the conference center, does have a posted regulations. I've actually put that in the chat that Marissa, you can actually forward out to everybody. But the rule basically is there are some exceptions, but there is no no carry. Firearms are forbidden in RGB.
Great, thank you. Glad to hear it.
Yes.
Didn't know that probably has to do with this that everyone's going through. Someone asked about un-GP behavior of specific judges, and could we report such behavior and ban a person from the judge list? Yes, if you have any issues with judges or any non-GP behavior around judging especially, please reach out to Jill Wilker. She is the right person to talk to about that. And if you need to find her, you can go to our pit admin area, and our ladies at pit admin will get you.
They know how to get a hold of me.
So if you have anything you're worried about, feel free to report at pit admin, and we'd be happy to take care of it.
Absolutely. And to be very clear, I have actually asked judges to step down. Those are very exceptional cases. But yes, if you have any ill toward for any reason, behavior from a judge, please do bring it to my attention immediately through pit admin, and we will take care of it. And as I said, I have asked judges to no longer be a judge, that they were no longer welcome to judge. It is unfortunate, you know, people unfortunately, you know, misbehave, unfortunately, and we don't ask them to come back.
Yes, and if you feel that way, definitely let us know. One more for Jill. Will Control Award be judged in the judging room? We need to know if our programmer should share his programming information in the judge room.
Yes, so that's a really great question. In the past, we've tried several different things with Control Award. This year, it will be treated exactly like Innovation Award, Design Judge, Motivate, Control, all of the other judged awards. It will be evaluated in that interview. They will be looking at the submission of the control submission, and then we'll be parsing at a high level the portfolio and treating it just like any of the other judged awards. Then the award panel for each division will get those lists of teams. They will look at, again, the content of what you've provided, and they will be strongly encouraged to both watch matches, which we will have available in those rooms, in the judge rooms, as well as actually go out and talk to the team and have them demonstrate and talk through things. So, you know, we're trying, hopefully this makes it a little bit easier to get everyone on the same page with the Control Award, but should work really well. We're super excited about it, and I think it'll just go a little smoother than hopefully it has in the past.
Thanks, Jill.
And I just saw the one about division. That is probably the thing that warms my heart the most. It is always so painful at Worlds to have so many high-powered teams and so little awards. So every single division will have a complete set of award winners, a second and third finalist. So second place, third place, or first runner-up, second runner-up, depending on the language you use. Every single award winner at those division awards will receive a trophy and all of the finalists will get a plaque. And I believe in the divisional awards ceremonies, we're going to bring them all up. Every single team that gets announced will be brought up. So super excited about those changes.
Yes, we'll be celebrating a lot of teams. All right, up for another quick rapid fire session. Is there going to be any sound barriers between the different divisions at the playing fields? The answer to that is no, unfortunately. So we're doing everything we can to mitigate the sound and put it in the right direction. We will also be offering earplugs for the very first time ever. So if you need those, feel free to grab them at the safety stations at the entrances to the area. In the past, there have been time slots for practice fields. Is this happening again, or is there a different procedure? Yes, we have a very succinct process this year for teams. You can sign up to do practice fields with your Alliance partners or on your own. I will be sharing more information about that in the event, the FTC event guide addendum, and we can probably email out some of the practice field instructions too, if that would be helpful. Will we have access to a printer if needed? The answer to that is no. Unfortunately, we cannot help you if you need a printer. I would check with your hotel or maybe another team, but the venue will not have a printer available to teams. Somebody asked how many matches will be running between the divisions and the conferences. Will only one match be running at a time or one per division? We will have one match, so one per division for the 4 divisions all running at the same time. So each division will be alternating fields, but it will be 4 matches running at the same time. It's going to be exciting. Are teams required to submit their portfolios online before judging? No, please, please, please bring a hard copy of your engineering portfolio to your judging appointment. Next question, is parking available at the venue? Is it free? It is available at the venue. It is not free. There are also hundreds of volunteers that are going to be on site looking for parking, and also teams. So Jill did share a link, maybe not to the parking, but there is parking information on our website, and you can also Google parking options in Houston to find a parking lot near us. Is there food available for sale inside the venue? Yes, we do have a lot of food options. The restaurants are available on the George R. Brown website if you want more information about that. Last year, they also sold a lot of things that smelled great, like popcorn, Dippin' Dots, and pretzels, and awesome stuff like that throughout the venue too. So they have a lot of snacks. There's also food trucks outside the venue. They're doubling the number that we brought last year, so I'm really excited about that. This question is for Michael. If we take our robot back to the hotel and make some changes or fix things, will it have to be re-inspected?
Oh, that is a great question. So just to be clear, it is totally okay to take your robot home with you at the end of the day. So there's no rules against that. And it's just like any event that you're at. This happens to be a multi-day event. You only need to ask for re-inspection if you add capability. Right? So if you were to put a completely different arm or claw on your robot, or change how you manipulate the cones, something that's functionally very different, yes, please have it inspected. The best process for that is check in with pit admin as soon as you can and tell them that your robot needs to be re-inspected. So normal maintenance, fixing things that are broken, no re-inspection. Feel free to make software changes only if you add functionality. Then you need to go and have that inspected.
Thank you, Michael. That was helpful. Oh, we're getting to the bottom. It's happening. How many amps are available from the pit power source? I believe it's a 20 amp available to each team. That information does live in the First Tech Challenge event guide addendum. So if you want to source check me, it is definitely in there, but I am 95% sure it's 20 amps. Oh, you know the answer, Michael?
Well, actually, can I jump in on this one?
Yes.
So in past years, we've had issues with brownouts in little segments of the pit area. And most of the time it's been a team bringing like a fog machine in, right? And they can really suck up a lot of power, right? And at the World Championship, you'll see teams with, charging 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 batteries at a time. And all of those are critical functions and draw a lot of power. So please don't bring anything extra. I highly recommend no smoke, no fog creators. They're very effective. We love to see them, but your neighbors will not like you. You'll definitely cause a brownout. So be very selective with what you bring.
Thank you
Okay.
so much for bringing that up, Michael. That is really helpful knowledge to share. And again, though, if you do have any issues with your power, just please go to pit admin and report it. We will send the venue electrician to come and get everything sorted. I know teams do get a little panicky sometimes when that happens. We can usually fix it in a couple hours. But yes, we do ask teams to be gracious and professional and not charge 15,000 batteries off their one tiny 20 amp outlet plug. And it's not funny. I'm taking it very seriously. It's always a very stressful deal for teams when it happens, and we can fix it. We'll all be okay. Michael?
So I don't know what you, so every year first, and Marissa knows this better than anybody, comes up with requirements for what they need from the venue, right? So that 20 amps, we don't know if that is per outlet. There's often a little box with 4 outlets on it, and those 4 outlets share 20 amps, potentially, right? So it very well could be 20 amps shared by 4 teams. We just don't know, right? So
Thank you. Thank you
for. I just want to caution that it would be great if it's 20 amps per team, but it could be 20 amps per 4 teams. Is there a way to find out that answer beforehand, or it is what it is?
And I will send an email out if I get the answer, but that might be an on-site exciting thing for all of us once we get there.
Okay, but like you said, just be careful how many batteries you charge and all the other electronics you're trying to drive, because like I said, I have seen brownouts in the pit before because of a lot of electronic power draw.
Thank you. All right, we're getting to the end of this, and I'm very excited that we've been able to answer your questions. This is great. I'm glad we're not leaving too many on the table. But will Rev have a store on site like last year? Yes, they're not technically allowed to sell anything, but they will have a vendor booth and they will be available. Rev, Pitsco, and Andy Mark will be on site to assist teams. We're really happy they're all coming back again this year. No practice fields on Tuesday afternoon. They will be set up and ready to go for Wednesday, but Tuesday is just check-in and inspections. How do we get the app? What is it called? It is called the 2023 First Championship app. You can find it in your app store on your phone. You just type that in. Sorry, I'm looking for the name. Here we go. 2023 First Championship. It's great. Highly recommend it. Will this recording be sent out tonight? The answer is yes, you will get it in an email tomorrow, so you can watch this educational presentation again. We're also sending out the slides if you don't want to listen to the recording. Then we have some nice, thank you guys, we're saying such nice things. Will masks be mandatory at this event? Masks are highly encouraged. They are not mandatory. We're not making anybody wear masks, but you are welcome to wear them if it makes you feel more comfortable. Kevin asked if shorts are allowed. The answer is yes, you can wear shorts. Is candy giveaways at pits counted as outside food? That is a great question. I think it depends on the security guard that you get. So I don't want to give you a solid answer because I think sometimes they let you in with it and sometimes they don't. So I'm sorry that's not more helpful. Can spectators wear sandals in the pits? We really would prefer if you wore closed-toed and closed-heeled shoes for safety so that your foot doesn't get run over by a robot cart or a robot or a stray, scary piece of machinery. People come in with flip-flops sometimes, but they do get yelled at. So we really do prefer that you don't wear sandals in the pits. Will awards, Think Connect, etc. be given out at the divisional level? Yes. We will be giving out divisional judged awards this year. We're very excited about it. And with that, I've completed all the questions. So thank you so much for the 112 of you that stuck around till the end. That was amazing. I really appreciate your time this evening. I hope that we were able to get you excited and feeling knowledgeable and ready for the event next week. We cannot wait to see you. Our volunteers are stoked. We're excited. We hope the teams are excited, and we really, really can't wait. So looking forward to the best championship we've ever had, and we will be seeing you next week. Oh, last question, vegan food. There is vegan food around. I would check the George R. Brown website or Yelp. I think the food trucks also sometimes have vegan food. I was so close. I hope that helps. All right, well, thank you, everybody.
Marissa, can I jump in on one quick thing? There's a really good specialty grocery store close to the George R. Brown called the Phoenician. So I recommend you Google that. They have several locations in Texas, but they have one just down the street from the convention center.
Thank you for bringing, yes, appreciate that too. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much. Wishing you safe travels to you and your robot, and we look forward to seeing you on site on Tuesday. Goodbye. Bye. Thank you so much. Good night.